Hi there. Thanks for coming by and watching a video. Welcome if this is your first time. My name is Arlene, and today I wanted to go over 2022 planner lineup and what worked and what didn't work, and then following that I'll do planner lineup for 2023. Alright, so let's just get started here. My everyday carry I had originally as this is a Moat Term companion traveler's notebook, and what I have in it is regular weeks, my sticker book, and my mega weeks. So this was basically what I had for everyday weeks. I had to put the cover on because I had actually got this thing soaked, and if you can see there, like the binding was basically coming off. Yeah, so it's holding on with literally like a thread. But anyways, but the pages inside are all still kept together and it's all good. So this was my everyday carry, and this was actually worked out quite well. I didn't end up doing very well with my nose bend on here. I just didn't bother. I think I did it for a little bit in the first month in January. Then for the monthlies, worked out perfect. I put all of my information, all my appointments, what days I was working, holidays, and such. I didn't put too many tasks on the side here, but I tried sometimes. During the week, it was alright. You know, some days I had a lot to say. I either put what I did that day if I had an appointment, and this is totally like messy. And then sometimes I'll put tasks for the week that I wanted to get done. What I did so that I could keep track, so I can write it down in my journal. So that pretty much worked everything. And in the back, what I did was just use this as notes pages. Also, since it was here, I decided to also use it as journaling if I had the time, just notes. I tried to do brain dumps on here, and just anything really. It just became a notebook, which was great. What I did with these big stickers here, I needed to use up my stickers, and at the same time, if I had transferred over the information underneath here, I'll plop the sticker on so that I won't look at the information again. Now, I did it for the first half of the year, but going towards the end, I didn't really end up doing that much. Let's see, yeah, so this just ended up being notes. I didn't end up using all of it. I think because I was trying not to use this as notes, thinking I would go through it. Plus I also had some other books going around. So that week mega worked. Then I also used this one. This is the regular weeks. Use this one as my health tracker. So here I kept track of my cycles just by little dots, any kind of appointments that I had. I tried to put what I ate that day, but it just didn't end up working out for me. And so that's pretty much all that. The monthlies didn't really work too well. So we go through what I ended up doing was trying different layouts here to see what would work. And initially what I wanted to do was have here use my mood stamps, here just kind of some kind of explanation, and put the word weather. So I kind of tried to do it kind of try to show my stamps, and then here I would put some symptoms that I had that day, if any. Again, I also tried doing this going forward, and it was okay. but I didn't feel like it just didn't feel quite as useful as I thought it would be. So what I ended up, yeah, see, and then I tried like mixing up the columns. That still didn't work for me. And then maybe if I didn't write the columns and just use my stamps, that didn't work for me either. So I just ended up writing all these notes of symptoms that I would be feeling that day, how bad the pain was, if I took any kind of medication for my migraines. There were some weeks where I just didn't bother writing anything down, and if I called in sick to work, what kind of things were going on. Some days obviously better than others, whether something I did at work aggravated my pain symptoms, and any notes that I had at a doctor's office too. So that's pretty well what I use that for, and it seemed to work okay. So I kept going for this basically till the very end. I also tried to do trackers. So initially I tried doing tracker this way, and I just didn't really like the way I had set it up. Yeah, I don't know if you can see it, but yeah, that didn't work for me. So then I tried a different layout, and this layout I liked. I tried following it from Maria at Planner Mother of 3. She had her tracker this way. So I tried doing it, and I did it for half the month of January, and that's pretty much it. Then I tried to do it in May again, and again, just didn't work out very well for me there. So I ended up putting notes here, as you can see, when I would go into physio, what exercises I did, what they would recommend me do at home, and like the dates, the different exercises, and that's pretty much all I did with that. So I am going to try to do a health tracker again, but I don't know if I'm going to put it in this week's anymore. So that was what my everyday carry was, and this was pretty chunky too, if you'll see. Like, I carried this plus a wallet, and it was a lot. So eventually I ended up taking these out and just using my Hobonichi porter like this. It originally just fit my Mega in here. I forgot how I got it in there. Anyways, got it in there. So I had my Mega Weeks, and before it was just barely fit, but now it got used to having this one on the other side. So now it is actually can hold a lot more, and then like so, and it's actually more I felt more compact to me than having this thing here. So this is basically how I had it for most of the year. I don't know if I'm going to use this cover again, but definitely going to use these weeks. Then I have my 5-year journal. I definitely was more successful at filling this in better than last year. Again, you know, there's beginning of the week, beginning of the year, didn't really do anything, would kind of fill out little things. And what I would also do, if I didn't write anything for that day, I would just practice doing my brush pen or practice doing different calligraphy fonts with the dates. And then if I can get to it, I would fill it. So the first half of the year for 2022, it wasn't, I didn't use it that much. And then towards the end of the year, I actually was more consistent. I was able to get almost most of the later half of the year in. So at least I know that's improving. And then what I would do if I had time, which wasn't all the time, I would go back and look into my weeks and see what I did that day and just write down a couple notes. I think the biggest hurdle for me was that I had to write it like a journal, and I was watching Dia Martinez, I believe is her name, on YouTube. I'll link her channel down below. And she was saying how her husband wasn't doing so well filling this in. And the way she did it was just put, bullet points of what happened that day. Whereas I would end up writing a story or a paragraph. And so instead of writing it, it made it easier to go through the rest of the year, just putting notes of what I did that day or any kind of highlight of that day. So that helped a lot. So this one will be carrying forward. Then I have, this is my A6 journal, and it was out of date, so I basically got my stickers and covered the dates and used this as a dream journal. And of course I didn't use it all the time, so at least if I covered the dates, I didn't have to worry about the dates. I can just next day just write the date down and whatever that may be. So this kind of worked, so I'm gonna try keeping forward with that, because sometimes I had pretty disturbing dreams, and then sometimes I just don't remember them. Now, here where I had an issue. This is my Rotofaden, and this one I wanted to carry with me all the time, and I love this cover. It is soft, it is gorgeous, but it's white, and it got dirty, and it started to bug me, like especially on the back, and I was just, yes, I loved it. But so I ended up not using this after a while, but what I put in it was my Jibun Techo weekly. Here it is. Jibun Techo weekly. And this is where I put in, like, it had the vertical planning, and that for the most part worked out pretty well for me. Obviously I wasn't completely as consistent as I would have preferred, but for the most part I was able to fill in most of it and just kind of see where my time for the day has gone, which I think I need to do. So another reason why I got this was because on the monthlies, if you can see, let me just let this focus here, right about here, they have like little dates. By the date they have little faces, so I was hoping to use that as a mood tracker, and I think that only lasted a couple months. Oh, look, January, that's it. Then another reason why I wanted this one too was because this one had Gantt charts that I was planning to use as habit trackers, and again, I didn't go through it. Didn't end up happening. Because I didn't carry this with me every single day. It just kind of got left by the wayside, or I filled it in at the end of the day, and that's pretty much all it was. I do have to get into the habit of actually going through a habit tracker and making sure that I'm doing it. I think that was the biggest thing. But yes, so this Jibun Techo worked for me. I also ended up getting the Jibun Techo days because I was used to, the previous year I had used my cousin, and it has the daily pages, and that worked for me too. So I thought maybe I'm going to need to have a daily because the Jibun Techo doesn't have any days, and there's barely any note pages at the end. So I wanted to have a couple of days pages, and so I tried doing the days, and you know, some days it worked, some days it didn't. Let's say most days didn't. I pretty much abandoned it by the time I got into the second half of the year. It was just too much, I think, carrying everything, and yes. So this one I didn't really end up using. The rest of the pages I would either use as notes, and that's pretty much it. This one too had the monthlies and had like little trackers at the very bottom. Again, tried using those, but again, I didn't carry this with me every single day, so it didn't work out. So this Jibun Techo days did not work. So then the last part that I used this 2022 was the Cousin of Ek in A5. So in this one it fit great, but I didn't have to bring this with me every day, and it is kind of gets heavy, and this is only half the year. So I really liked this in that what I didn't use the monthly. I didn't really use the perpetual calendar either. Yeah, no, I didn't use the calendar either. I think my habit tracking just all last year just was put to the wayside completely. And then so what I didn't really use the monthlies either. And I just used mostly the weeklies. And it was just basically a memory tracker. Some weeks I didn't use it, and then other days I would just either stamp or paint, or in the dailies I would put in all kinds of ephemera in it. I'd journal sometimes. Yeah, and I just pretty much did that all year. So like sometimes you have this, put stickers and stamp out some of my things, stamp out some of my stamps, play with that for a bit. I even have some wine labels that I would put in here that I would drink, and kind of put a couple notes about the wine. Really great bottle of wine, by the way. And so yeah, so if I had, you know, journal cards I would use. And then this was a stamp set that I bought. Tried to do some watercoloring if I had the time, putting some collages together, sketching out some pen that I got. So this actually I preferred, and I still have a couple of pieces of ephemera to put in here that I didn't even go by the days anymore at this point. I just kind of put it in an open page, and then if I could, I would just write some journaling in there. So it's not completely aesthetically pleasing to the eye, but I enjoyed having this kind of scrapbook type thing, which I will continue in 2023. So that is my 2022 lineup for the items that worked and did not work for me. So I'll see you at the next video for my 2023 planner lineup. Thank you for watching.